In 500 feet, turn right onto Boggy Ford Road.
Boggy Ford? Good morning, guys. You find me on the road yet
now
again.
Turn right onto Boggy Ford Road.
San Antonio is having a ribbon, San Antonio Tesla is having ribbon cutting for their Airport Boulevard facility. And as usual, they invite Tesla Club members. And I happen to be one of those guys. And you know, it's interesting to see a place, and sometimes they're giving away stuff, so that's cool. So we'll see how it goes. At some point, I do need to give you some kind of discussion. Let me get out of town first. So for some reason. Well, let's put it this way: when I use Google Maps on my phone to navigate, it has me going down 281 into San Antonio. Tesla has me going down I-35. And the reason why Google was sending me down to 281 was to avoid the congestion on I-35. And if you're from the Central Texas area and you drive I-35, you know exactly what that means. Anyway, whatever, peace and harmony. You know, it's not even 8 yet. The trip oh wow, 9:40. Yeah, okay, yes. So it's about a 2-hour drive. Hopefully by leaving a little bit earlier, I'll have some advantage as far as traffic goes. We'll see. So right now, my camera plans are, or hopefully are, run the GoPro 8 or Hero 8 in the morning, and then coming back. Oh, what are you doing? No, get off the road. Sorry, a couple of deers ran out in the middle of the road for some reason. One was chasing the other one, I think. I mean, the first one was kind of limping, then all of a sudden the second one came charging out. I mean, the guy was leaving. Alright, so in the morning, Hero 8. In the afternoon, Hero 9. Now let's see how they last. My expectation is the Hero 8 will kind of give up the ghost halfway through going to San Antonio. Yeah, it's just the way it is. I think the Hero 9 will probably last the whole way back. I'm hoping it will. Well, I don't know, we'll have to see. I mean, in theory, you can pull the battery out, plug it in to charge, and just run it off the charge cable. And maybe that'll run cooler. I would hope it would, but I don't know. With that charge activity, maybe not. Of course, part of the discussion I've heard is just the process of running on the SD cards also generates heat. So I'm using the SD cards recommended for the GoPro. So it's not a question of storage space, it's a question of handling the heat. Of course, my camera, the way I have a suction cup, is so the camera's mounted almost kind of flush with the rear view mirror. Not the coolest place, but certainly not the hottest place, I hope. And on top of that, I mean, it's 69 degrees and cloudy, and they're talking about the high temperature not even making it up to 80 today. And if you're from the Austin area, you know that's almost sweater weather, man. Not really, but you know, it's on the chilly side. It really should make 90, 95 even. I mean, we're in the second half of May.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Lomans Ford Road. Now turn left onto Lomans Ford Road.
Loman Ford. Yeah, no understand. good sign. But I do like when you're speeding up, that little whine from the motor is like, it just, what does it sound like? Futuristic? It sounds futuristic, we'll call it that. It's kind of like a spaceship winding up. Except, you know, a spaceship in space, not a spaceship taking off from the pad. Speaking of which, today, I don't know, I have to go back and look, huh? So I think they've asked for SpaceX. I think SpaceX has asked for initial clearance to launch as early as June 15th. I don't even know if that's possible, but one of the guys did the recording, I guess, from South Padre Island, or from the park, whatever, and the crackle from that launch, like I said before, I mean, if you missed it, or if you've seen it before, it's a repeat for you. But the sight of the rocket taking off is cool, but it's not quite that astounding. I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of like watching a plane fly by. Or like a commercial jet. It's so far away, so small looking. It's not impressive unless you think of it what it's actually doing. But the sound of that rocket, those rocket motors. Sorry, because after all, there's like 33 of them, right? 33 in the heavy lifter, or whatever they call that thing. That sound, crack, 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 that's pretty awesome. Now it's been a long time, but we did watch a rocket take off at Cape Canaveral many years ago, and you could hear the thunder and roar of those engines. And I'm guessing we're probably around Vero, maybe Melbourne. I don't think we went very far. I mean, no, Melbourne was an hour drive, right? Or more or less an hour drive. I mean, in today's terms, it's probably like 30 minutes. I mean, we didn't have something like I-95 back then, so you went up US 1, which goes through town, so you're slowed down all the time. So I think it was just North Vero Beach, but I don't remember. I do recall seeing that rocket taken off. Now, all of us that were there, I'm the only one still alive, so you're going to find anybody who was in that group dispute me. No, but other people, yeah, sure. But whatever, peace and harmony, it's fine. But the main point is, yes, you can watch it on YouTube.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Farm to Market 1431.
You can watch the launch on YouTube, and you can hear the crackle, yes, but you won't get the feeling that you will if you're exactly there.
Now
on the other hand,
onto Farm to Market 1431.
There's going to be so many people down at that park, it's going to be nuts. I mean, supposedly you couldn't walk on the sand dunes, you couldn't walk on the grass, and people were doing that. Let's see, we're going to go until red, okay. Whatever, you know, it's a big thing. It's especially in South Texas, right? If you lived in Florida, almost anywhere in Florida, you could get to Cape Canaveral in an okay time frame, right? I mean, was it the longest trip might be 5 hours or something like that? Now that might require like an overnight stay somewhere. Yes, I'll give you that. But well, even for me, let's terms. What was that trip, like 8 hours? Using this car, actually, my Model Y. I think in the old days we used to think of it as 7 hours to go to Brownsville from Austin. So yeah, I don't know exactly what was going on that day. I mean, it was a little bit slower, but you know, I don't do a very good job of tracking times and distances. It's not it's not in my suite of strong abilities. But whatever. But yes, driving EV, you're gonna have to stop every so often and charge up. Yes. Is it gonna be just a little bit longer? Yes. No doubt about it. But then again, I'm one of those people who likes to stop once an hour anyway. Well, so if you want to stay more alert, it helps to stay hydrated. So you stay hydrated, you're going to want to go to the bathroom more often. So for me, actually, that's a win-win, because I need to stop more often, and I'll get up and walk, and that getting up and walking wakes you up a little bit. So that's all good. Anyway, back to the rocket thing. I'm not saying that you should go see every launch. That would be crazy. I mean, I know some people that's their life and that's what they do, and that's fine, I get it. But I think it's interesting to go see it once in life, in real life. And then from then on, just watch on TV, no big deal. And, you know, when they were running the Apollo missions, yeah, the first few missions were a big deal. Of course, they had the one that, because they run pure oxygen, there was spark and the cabin burned up with the 3 astronauts in it. That was pretty sad, but after they got past that point, and they had what, Apollo 13 that had the little explosion in the service module, so that wasn't great either. But anyway, where I'm really going though is there came a point where it was so routine. Most of America, I mean, I got bored with it, and most Americans got bored with it. It's not that it wasn't astounding stuff, it's just they were doing it so routinely, so normally. And you see that in the movie Apollo 13. People just got so used to it. And it was astounding stuff. It was high risk. Teddy bear pig. But, you know, after a while, it's like, well, nothing's going on. They're just going to the moon again. But the thing is, in order to keep it routine, you have to keep it routine. And the U.S. government had so many other things that became higher priorities for them. So, I mean, that's the bad downside of it. So I think the good news with SpaceX is making it more commercially interesting, more commercially possible to do it. And I think once business has, oh well, but we will eventually make X dollars out of this investment, then they'll keep it going. I don't know, we'll see what happens. And I know Elon's goal is to go to Mars. Because once you get to Mars, then we become an interplanetary species. And so we're on our way to going to other places and finding out what's actually in this universe. I don't know. I mean, it's risky in that we might discover something that's not so friendly. But do you know that eventually, at some point in the far, far future, but eventually, the sun will burn out, and when the sun burns out, the earth will no longer exist. For those of you who say that's God's will, well, okay, fine. If that's the way you want to do it, then that's the way you want to do it. I won't disagree. I won't get in your way of going that way. Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I kind of figured you couldn't stay in your lane. Come on. We'll see what the future brings. But as I've said before, is I don't anticipate that I'm going to be part of any of that stuff. I mean, I do have a Tesla, so I am supporting the mission, so to speak. But I leave it to my grandchildren to go forward. Why did you pass me if you can't make the turn? Hey! Enough impetus to go up the hill yet? Come on. Sorry, I mean, Mr. Lexus is having a hard time sharing the road, so to speak. Or maybe he really wants to share the road with a Tesla. I don't know. And all of a sudden he's off the back. I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say is if you can break the string, if you can break the elastic, sometimes people will drop off. I think he's one of those. Next to me, he was almost ready to come across the line. Well, they didn't, but he was almost there. Attack control on. Mr. Lexus is coming back up. Oh, he fell off. So Mazda for a while there was matching me, and all of a sudden he just kind of like, oh, what? I'm going too fast. Well, yeah, what were you doing? Actually, if I gauge AutoPilot, he'll cut off 2 miles an hour. Has his limits. Whatever, peace and harmony, that's the way it is. Here comes Mr. Lex. You can stay in his lane today? This time? Can you? Oh, it's a Revel. He's braking for the green light. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's green, it's green. What do I do? What do I do? Just go through the green light? I don't know. That was a lot of braking. I can tell you that I floated my right foot. I have to go. I have to go. Oh, I'm driving a pickup. Oh, no, I can't wait. Oh, I can't accelerate, but I can't wait. Oh, come on, it's a Toyota. Of course it's a Toyota. You expect that from Toyota, right? And now, oh, there is a gas pedal in that truck. He's taking off now. But it's because Lexus is going, yeah, you're slow. Is that it? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Oh, so he wanted to get over to the left, and he thought he would try to accelerate the Lexus, who had a head start on him. I don't know. I mean, they're flying up the road now. All right. So the question people are asking. I mean, if Tesla makes it up to their, no, I'm sorry, when Tesla makes it up to their 20 million per year mark.
In 1 mile, turn right to take the Texas 183A
Okay.
South ramp.
So in what is this? This is 2023. In 7 years? In 7 years? You know how nuts that sounds? So in 7 years, when Tesla finally achieves that 20 million per year vehicle manufacturing rate, Mr. Lexus again. Huh. And from that point, it would be like 10, 11 years, something like that, to replace all vehicles in fleet. Is that possible? Likely? I don't know. Wait, that's within my lifetime. Whoa, okay. I'm sorry, I hadn't thought about it quite that way, but yeah, that's, yeah, Bubba. That's kind of nuts. Anyway, so if Tesla, let's just say they replace half the worldwide fleet. I don't think that's what they'll end up doing, but because they're talking about creating more markets. So like in Africa, not that many cars. So there won't be that many cars.
Now turn right
They
to
won't
take the
replace
Texas
cars at
183A
quite
South
the
ramp.
clip you might think. I think they'll be adding new cars. I mean, there'll be a mix. Don't get me wrong. That's where you go. You go turn. Blast on. But anyway, where I was going was, I mean, FSD is a $15,000 option. And Elon's saying it's going to be worth much, much more in the future. I mean, how does that work out? I mean, the reason why I don't have FSD in this car is because I want to separate with $15,000. But if everybody got, if let's say half of all the people on U.S. highways had a Tesla with FSD in it, that'd be kind of nuts to think that all the cars would be able to anticipate what the other car is going to do and plan their movements accordingly. So the traffic flow would be so much smoother and easier. I mean, if you look at, just looking at the speed of things. So going on AutoPilot, you set the offset, and based upon that offset, that's what it sets its base, or is it projected speed on. Now, yes, you can adjust it as you're driving, yes, you can do all that. But if you just use the defaults, then everybody will be driving right at the speed limit. And all the cars would know that, and they'd all plan for that.
In 1 mile, keep left to stay on Texas 183A South toward Austin.
So you wouldn't have all these people like this Lexus guy that was here. I mean, he went straight instead of going right. where he would slow way down for that curve and then accelerate out of that curve kind of hard. And to tell you the truth, my car on AutoPilot, he also slows down for the curve. Oh, it's maddening. I can't stand it. But that's what he does. So if all the cars do it the same way, then it'd be like there's this little dance. They're all just doing this little dance.
Now keep left to
No
stay
big
on
deal.
Texas 183A South.
And things will flow so much smoother. It'll be so much safer. And we're all connected to the cloud to some extent. So imagine if we're all telling everybody around us what we're doing. That's going to take more bandwidth, I believe. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where you going, Minnie? Look, it accelerate into it. Oh, that's a Mini. I couldn't tell from the thing on the car that was a Mini, but okay. Sorry, being sarcastic. Alright, so anyway, we talked a little about rockets, SpaceX. Oh, so did I finish with SpaceX? I don't remember. So the point was, in Florida, making it a long day drive, you could get out to Cape Canaveral, see the rocket launch, and get home. And if I still lived in Vero Beach, oh, I could be there in 45 minutes or something like that. But here in Texas, I mean, so for those of you who live in the Brownsville area, I don't know if you even have to leave your house to see it take off. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see the initial launch. I mean, the initial liftoff. But at some point in the sky, you would see that rocket. Because it's way up there. So let's go for them. But so let's step back and say, what about this poor schmuck who lives in Austin? Driving a Tesla, who wants to go see SpaceX, or the Starship launch. You have to drive down, so it's going to be a day trip down, stay in a hotel, and then drive back the next day, assuming they launch the next day. So anyway, whatever, we'll see. I'm actually still paying for that trip, I think. That's the funny thing, right? All the supercharges charges. They take like a month and a half for me to clear, or maybe 2 months. Whatever. I mean, that's just the way it works. So, could I go to Cape Canaveral from here? Yes. It's probably a good 2.5 day drive. Let's see. I've done so. It's not quite fair, is it? So I did a series of 6 marathons over 3 weekends. So that last weekend was a marathon in Slidell, Louisiana. And so there was a marathon in Slidell. So I would have left Friday to get down to Slidell. That actually turns out to be a rocket testing site where the marathon was, which is kind of different. Whatever. I do have that, yes. But that was kind of cool. But then as soon as I finished that marathon, my goal was to make it into calculate in the loss of an hour, gain of an hour, whatever it is, loss of available time of 1 hour. So I ended up getting to the hotel at like 1:30 or something in the morning, which is just enough time to lay her down for a few minutes and then take a shower and get going again. So let's see, what does that mean? That means basically in 2 days I made it to Cocoa Beach from Austin. So yes, could I go to Cape Canaveral, watch a launch? Yes, I could. So it would take me 2 days driving. Although, you know, if you don't have a marathon in the middle of all that, maybe you can work some other magic in. I haven't thought of it that way yet. I do know that when you come into the Panhandle of Florida, you just enter Florida, it's surprising how much further you still have to go to make the right turn to go south. It's kind of disappointing. Hard to live with. Hey, whatever. It all worked out just fine. But anyway, the point is, yes, I could probably drive down in 2 days. But here, I drive down 1 day to South Texas and I'm on site. So we're going to have to think more seriously about this. Should I go this way or should I go Mopac? Let's go Mopac. I mean, he's not saying it, but I think we should go Mopac. Avoid going through downtown. Poor navigation is going to get confused. It'll pick it up. It'll figure it out very quickly. So the thing was with navigation, yeah, I kind of figured you might do it sooner or later. Navigation will try to get me to do a U-turn to go back and come up to 183. I don't know why he does that.
In 1,000 feet, take the Texas 1 Loop South ramp on the right toward Montauk Boulevard South.
Oh, look at that.
Now take the Texas 1 Loop South ramp on the right.
She's cooperating today. Awesome. She must have that as a possibility in her mind. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, the people interviewed people. They were saying like some of those people came down from Canada. So they came from all over North America. Actually, there's some girl who flew in from Shanghai. And she waited until they knew that they had a launch date. Now, the part I didn't hear was, did she stick around longer when they didn't make the date? And they delayed it 3 days. And at first I couldn't believe they were going to do that, but whatever. It is what it is. And when I was making my hotel reservation, I was aware of the possibility that they might. But I figured, okay, if they delayed, they'd only delay 1 day or 2 days at the max. And they ended up delaying it 3 days, so it'd be on 4/20. And so that lack of clarity. No, I'm there. If I'm there, I'm not. And besides, I can watch it on TV, on YouTube. But you know, Starship launch. So they just had that one. So the first one's done. You can't claim that you're going to the first Starship launch. First Starship launch is done. motorcycle riders. I get that's what's saying safety, right? Oh, put your high beams on so people see you. Ask that guy if I could see him going by in my mirror. I mean, I was aware of him coming up. I'll give you that. But because his lights are so bright, I had to put my hand up to block the mirror so I wasn't being blinded. And it's daytime. So I get it. I mean, that's what the safety course says. Oh, you should have your high beams on. Okay. If you have your high beams on and you're blinding people, how does that improve safety? Sorry. Sidetracked for a moment. It's just one of the pet peeves I have. Run with your headlights on, low beam? Okay, fine. I get that. I mean, when I was driving school bus, that's what we did. Drive with your headlights on. Although I've always heard it like, you know, when the guy says, well, I didn't see the bus. Then the lawyer can say, so you didn't see the vehicle with the headlights on? Or taillights, whichever way he came in. Right? I mean, you hear that. Well, I didn't see the big yellow thing. Well, they got a new helicopter. That's interesting. Why do they have a new helicopter? Whatever. I don't drive school bus anymore. Do I like driving school bus? Yes. But apparently the IRS and Social Security thought it was extremely bad. What they did, they charged me taxes. And I don't mean just a little bit, they charged me a lot. Just for the privilege of driving a school bus. The privilege of listening to a bunch of screaming kids. Whatever, peace and harmony. I always liked the good kids. I always liked the kids who are a little less nice. Yeah, but I mean, they need transportation too. So, yeah, somebody find
in
some
1 mile, keep left to stay on Texas 1 loop south.
I mean, it's supposed to take an exit. Yeah, I guess it's good that they tell you, but at the same time, it's like, why? So I've only had TAC on for a little while and haven't had AutoPilot on at all so far. It's good to show how I feel about things. I mean, why put on AutoPilot if you go on brakes and turn it off? So I'm kind of hoping that with FSD it'll work more better, more predictable. But we'll see. I'm thinking I'll have to put the camera back here
now
behind
keep left
me
to stay on Texas
to
1
see the
loop
screen
south.
as I'm driving. Oh no, let's go through downtown. That's why I'm here. Okay, whatever. Peace and harmony. You know, I never really realized how much I say that until I watch the videos, and it's like, I say so much. But it's like a meditation phrase, right? Peace and harmony. Kind of do a little reset. Oh, he's just turning. Yeah, so many lights going on. All he's doing is changing lanes. I thought he was after somebody. Now I got a whole bunch of cars behind me. I'm going to have to get over to the left in about 2 miles. Okay, we'll see. just fine. So let me put in this little tidbit in the middle of the video. So I was thinking of the questions. So I did
in 1 mile, take the Capital of Texas Highway exit on the left.
I did an EV intro type thing down in San Antonio last year, and one of the guys was saying something about electric cars. He sounded like he was kind of interested. And you could tell he was kind of like, he wanted the performance aspect of it, just the way he talked. So I told him, you know what, you bring your Tesla down to a 0 to 60 run, and that Tesla will beat almost any other car. I mean, listening to him, that you could tell that's what he was kind of interested in. Now, was I exaggerating a little? Yes. I was thinking more in terms of Model 3 performance.
Now take the Capital of Texas Highway exit on the left.
Yes, yes. So this morning, as I'm kind of waking up, I thought about that position. So I used to have a 1999 Porsche 911 Carrera. It's basically base level, if I understood right. I looked it up, and it said the 0 to 60 was 4.9 seconds as tested by car and driver. Okay, 4.9 seconds. Which I'm sure it was very fast at that time.
In 1,000 feet, take the US 290 East, Texas 71 East ramp on the left toward Bastrop.
Toward Bastrop, yes ma'am. So, if you paid some attention to what I've been talking about.
Now take the US 290 East ramp on the left.
Like Ming got that Model 3 rear-wheel drive. Its acceleration time is 5.8 seconds. Okay. This car, this Model Y long range, 2022, at least on paper, its 0 to 60 time is 4.8 seconds. And I was saying at the time, I don't want to buy another car that's slower than this Model Y. Okay, I mean, whatever. You can look at it whichever way you want to look at it, but that's one of the things. So that's one of the things why the rear-wheel drive was not interesting to me. Now that I've actually driven her car, it accelerates just fine. It has nice performance. But still, on paper, it's 5.8 seconds. But going back, so I looked it up. So 911 was 4.9 seconds. This Model Y, this SUV utility vehicle, is 4.8. It's a 0.1 seconds faster than a committed, built from scratch,
In 1
hot
mile,
sports
take the
car.
Interstate 35 south exit on the right toward San Antonio.
I don't think anybody would say that a Porsche 911 Carrera would beat a Corvette of the time. I'm not saying anything like that. But the fact that, at least with a paper comparison, this SUV, and in some ways small truck, can beat a Porsche 911 is nuts. I don't. 0.1 seconds probably comes down to driver reaction time, stuff like that. It blows my mind. I didn't look up to see what a Corvette could do.
South exit on the right.
That would be curious. I mean, Corvettes, at least traditionally are big V8 monsters.
In 1,000 feet, take the ramp on the right.
Don't get me wrong, you give me a
Interstate
Corvette and say this is your car. As long as I don't have to drive it every day, as long as I can drive my Model
Then
Y.
take the ramp on the right toward Interstate 35.
I think that would actually be kind of fun. I can tell you, driving the 911, the way people reacted to it all the time, it was a trip. Lane ends, merge left. Okay, let's not trade paint with this red car. Camry hybrid. Whatever, peace and harmony. It's all pretty interesting. Just coming across that particular tidbit was like, wow. At least I wasn't lying. I felt I was exaggerating. I've always had the position, I don't understand why people get Model Y performance. I mean, if you want performance, go for the sporty sedan. Why go for the SUV? On the other hand, I mean, I've proven it for myself anyway. You know, if you're one of those people who has troubles getting in and out of a sports car, the Model 3 is not going to be great for you. That's without a doubt. There's still have Texas plates on there. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh no! What are we doing? So we're going to turn on 410. Okay, probably get on 410 to the airport. Okay. 281. Alright, so for those of you who haven't tracked it yet, I have my finger on a Model 3 Performance. It's used. It's a used 2020. But that 0-60 time is, I don't remember exactly, is it 3.2? I think it's 3.2. 3.2 seconds. Compared to this car's 4.8. I mean, wow. But then again, that Performance has track mode in it. At least it should. I know the 2023 does. Oops. Speaking of track mode, yeah, okay, we're going a little too fast here, right? So I'm expecting track mode, but I mean, playing with the track mode is like, there's a drift mode. Wait, what? And then I think there was a racing or track setup. Basically, it was 50-50 distribution. So I don't know. I'm not really anticipating doing anything quite so nuts. That's not. I mean, what's the greatest thing you've done in a car? Craziest thing I've ever done in a car was on a wide open section of road that was miles long. I accelerated to just north of 100, which is they take you off the jail, arrest you type stuff. if you have a 911, you gotta try it out at some point. Otherwise, people, well, would you ever try it? No. What? Would you have Porsche? Dude, I just like driving it. It was fun. It was fun to play with, and it was used, so I bought it for $20,000. Right, I didn't pay no brand new price. I had always wanted the Porsche. Well, I mean, not always, but ever since I graduated college. Is that fair? Maybe a little bit earlier. I don't remember about earlier, but definitely once I was working. Yes, I was. Oh, I would like to get a Porsche 944. Porsche 944, of course, is water-cooled front engine. Well, that was just a little bit too much at that time. I couldn't justify it. Not with 3 kids. Yes, I'm blaming you three. No, whatever, I'm kidding. It's not their fault. But then they also had a 928. 928 was apparently also really an Audi-made built car, but still it would be a Porsche. Oh, Porsche. Anyway, I never did go to that extent. And it's hard to tell. I mean, if I had bought it brand new, how long would I drive it? But the thing is, at that time, whatever car was the best car usually went to my wife. Right, wrong, different, doesn't matter. That's the way it worked. So that's why I had my Firebird. She took the car. Right? And that Firebird was, that was one of my favorite cars. Love that car. Now that I've seen the 911 acceleration, I'm like, yeah, I wonder what that Firebird would do. I mean, I guess I could go look it up, but I mean, it was a 76 Firebird with a 352 barrel. So the 352 barrel had plenty of power to go. Right? I mean, it had plenty of that. But I'm sure it wasn't all that fast. Because they had, what were they? 400 V8. It was like a 440 or something? I don't remember exactly. I know in Chevy there was a 454. 454, 4-barrel. So, the first car I got to drive when I was a kid, my parents had a Buick Station Wagon. Oldsmobile, I forgot which one. At one point it was a Buick. It had a 455 4-barrel. Man, that car was awesome. Was it a floaty American-made car? Yes, it was. What do you want? This is my first car I drove. So that's not the kind of car you should give your teenage kid or teenage son. And kind of like the way I would have thought of it 20 years ago was, no, you give him a Toyota Camry to have some power, but it's not real powerful. And if you wreck it, you're not going to get too upset over that. A used Toyota Camry. So like my goddaughter, when I worked on getting her some more experience, yeah, we used a Camry. Definitely. And this car next to me is like, well, I'm not sure I want to pass you. Well, then why are you next to me? Anyway, whatever. Peace and Army. I mean, what would you do now? I don't know. My grandson is what, 7? Or will be 7? I forgot exactly. So it's another 9 years. So in 9 years, I don't even know what the rules will be at that time. And one of the theories is people just will not be driving as much as they do now. You'll call Uber, robo-taxi, whatever it is. Sorry, towing the party line, they're going to call for a robo-taxi. If you're going to look at it from what the future is, well, I don't know. But the point of all that is when you use it, so assume Uber is going to go robo at some point. They almost certainly have to stay in business. So you're going to get right in this car. It's going to be driven by AI, robot, whatever you're going to call it. So there's no driver. You're not driving yourself. So who's going to drive? No. Crazy people. Not crazy, right? Anyway, people work on the farm. I mean, it's not going to be so easy for them to do robo stuff. And let's face it, the reason why I learned how to drive was so I could drive a tractor. Not that we lived on some acreage, and so this tractor do some of the work we had to do. So we had horses. So when we bought the one place in Florida, we cleared the land to have the horses run on it. There's a lot of road noise in it. I wonder what it's going to sound like to you guys. Whatever. Wow, come on. I know it's an RST, but if you could go faster, you would be going faster. This car, in theory, can go 140 miles an hour, but then, like I said, that's a rush you take out the jail time for this stuff. Right, 50 miles an hour speed limit, is that what it is? 25, I forgot exactly. Arrest you, take you to jail. Speaking of arresting you, taking to jail, there's cops. Wow! Down here in Kyle. Does he have an accident? No, what? 3 cops to pull over a Corolla. Can you imagine that? Oh, it's a Toyota Corolla. Oh, it's very dangerous. Oh. What? Seriously? I'm sure that's not the reason, but it looked like 2 of them were deputies, one was Kyle police. Whatever, I don't know. Pretty owned inventory, I didn't think about that. Kyle flea market. Oh, wow. Look at all those tents. So that RST from all that time, all of a sudden he's falling off. So anyway, where were we? So my grandson Luke, I don't know. I don't know what the rules will be. He lives in Massachusetts, so the Boston area, so who knows what's going to happen there. I mean, I would think if robotaxi would be successful anyplace, I mean, I know it will be, but there's so much community there in the Boston area that using robotaxi kind of scheme, as long as it was cost effective, would make sense. and out here in Central Texas, if you don't live in the city or suburbs, so at least for today, right? May 21st, 2023, today, I don't live as part of the Austin metropolitan area, at least I don't think so. There should be a boundary, basically at Jonestown, or at the end of Cedar Park. That's the way I would like to see it. I don't know if that's the way the government will see it, but we'll see. I wonder if they're going to have the road covenant. I mean, not that it's raining hard or anything, it's just still sprinkling. Whatever, we'll find out. I'll get down there and find out they canceled it. Oh, man. You know what I haven't done? I've been on and off tack, but so anyway, I don't know what to expect when it comes to the robo-taxi discussion. But I've always been, maybe not every single month, but I've always been a more rural type person. Or at least wanted to be. Like I said, yeah, let me be more fair. To be more fair, yes. Living around the Austin area, most of my time has been more or less in the Austin area. So it would count as the metropolitan area. It's just the way it is. To be able to afford places to live, at that time you kind of had to. I mean, it would have taken many years ago. My father had a place out, or he had property in Lago Vista. He offered to sell it to me. I mean, if I had taken up on it, I would have saved some money. But at the time, I couldn't imagine living in Lago Vista because it was so far to drive. So, as a person who worked for a living, oh, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't put up with that. I mean, I don't even know what if they had the school out there. They may have been part of the Leander School District. I don't know. My impression is, I don't know, I mean, this is before I moved out there. My impression is Lago Vista ISD came out of taking some property out of Marble Falls and out of Leander. I mean, Lago Vista ISD basically runs up to the west end of Jonestown. West of Lago Vista, just past the city line. So that community they built out there, anyway, that community they built out there is part of Lago Vista, or part of that community. Because another part of that community where they haven't developed yet, it's actually part of Falls. Well, the assumption is if they were to build houses up there, they would want those houses to be in Lago Vista. And what used to be a sleepy little community has been growing and growing and growing. actually had people stop. Okay, guys, another just for fun driving video. You know, when I'm doing these, I'm really experimenting with the GoPros. So this is with the Hero 8. It ran out after just about an hour. So it ran out, I think it ran out of battery. Whatever, it turned off. So in here I'm rambling about several different subjects. One is about rockets and SpaceX. Anyway, when I was a kid, we went, I live in Florida, so we went down to the beach and watched one of the rockets go. I don't know which one it was, but we watched one. It was, whether it was Gemini or Apollo, I don't know which one, but anyway, it was cool watching it in retrospect. I mean, it was kind of boring at the time, but so be it. So anyway, I'm talking about SpaceX and how cool, you know, it's not that far to go down to South Padre Island to go watch the rocket take off from Boca Chica. If I can figure out when the next launch is, yes, I'm going to go. At least I think I will. Whatever. What else I'm talking about cars, I think. I'm talking about the future of cars and robo taxis and how that might impact my grandson and my goddaughter's daughter. You know, how much will cars even be used by the time they get to be teenagers? And I don't know what the answer is to that one. I see things wanting to move quickly. At the same time, I have a hard time believing they'll move quickly because things always find a way to slow down. And we live in Texas. Texas is an oil and gas state, at least to some extent. So I find it hard to believe that Texas will embrace EVs fully enough to make EV cars and robo-taxis useful. But who knows? Things change. Sometimes things change suddenly. We'll have to see. So anyway, and then I'm also talking a little bit about Lago Vista and how did Lago Vista come to be, not to be, but Lago Vista ISD, the school district. So anyway, if you want to tune in for those subjects, feel free. You know, if you don't want to hear Opa Ray rambling on another video, feel free to leave. The main point is to experiment with the cameras. So the other thing I found with the cameras is they, let's call it auto bookmark every 11 minutes or so. So when I say auto bookmark, basically they split the video. Anyway, whatever. It's fun playing with it to some extent. At the same time, it feels like I'm going about it the wrong way. But you know, it is a learning exercise. Anyway, thanks. Good luck.